Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the fish room. My name is Travis. Today's video we're going to be doing a little DIY project here on the 300-gallon reef, more specifically adding some additional ventilation. Now, I do have the canopy doors open and you can see that one of my fans has actually stopped working. Now, a little background on this before we get started with the project. Basically, those 4 fans have been running non-stop 24/7 since I started the reef tank, which is about 6 or 7 years ago. And I mean, even with the lights off, they're still running, pulling air from the canopy. So given that they're just starting to die, I'm not upset about that. They were like $15 a piece, so I will be replacing those at some point. But with that, they have slowed down significantly over the last 6 months. I've just noticed that some of them come down here, they're not working. I do know if I actually hit that one that's not moving, it will start spinning again. But again, it's not at the speed that it once was. And the downside of that is I'm not actually pulling the air from the canopy that I did before, and it's getting too hot. So over the last 6 months, I've killed 2 of my Kessil A360x's due to it being too hot in the canopy, hence the reason why the doors are open. Now, shout out to Kessil for supporting the channel and working with me trying to troubleshoot what the issue was. Long story short, I put a thermometer in there and it got up to about 106 degrees, which is way too hot for the lighting to be functioning. And again, this has just been over the last 6 months that I've noticed that these fans are not working and slowing down, even with cleaning them pretty consistently with my little air blaster thing here that I have for the keyboard and getting in there with a toothbrush and cleaning off the fins. They're still, again, just not working the way they should. So in this video, I'm going to be adding some additional ventilation to the top of the canopy, and it's going to help either way. Now, I will say that I am going to replace these 4 fans. I just ordered them, and they're a simple fix. I don't know if I'll make a video on it. They're a relatively simple process, just kind of unscrew, screw them in, and plug them back in, so I don't know if that's worth a video, but either way, I will be replacing those fans in addition to what we're going to do today. So before we get started, quick look at the lighting. For those of you who are wondering, these are 2 Aquatic Life T5 fixtures. I run 2 Blue Plus and 2 actinic bulbs per fixture. I'm running Reef Bright strips, and I'm running 2 AP9Xs and 4 Kessil A360Xs when it comes to lighting. So plenty of lighting, a lot of power, getting great PAR. If you're wondering what the PAR is, check out some of my previous videos on this. The tank grows acropora and SPS on the bottom. As you can see, there's a ton of acros down there. So no issues, works great. The only problem is it's just getting too hot with the fans starting to die. So with that, we're going to do a little DIY project, and I guess let's figure out how I'm going to angle this. So in the fish room, let's go up here. In the fish room, I have 3 of these fans. I'm going to try to show you without making a mess. So I have 3 of these inline AC fans. Now, the purpose of these is 2 of them are in my printing area. I use them to pull printer fumes and hot air and basically force it outside so it never gets into the fish room. I don't like having fumes and stuff like that kind of going around. I don't want to mess with that. And then I have this 3rd one that's just kind of here in the general area of my fish room. It basically just kind of chills out here, pulls out hot air, pulls out humid air, anything really. Just kind of forces it out and puts it in outside basically. So I have this tube, a 4-inch tube that goes all the way down over here and then goes outside and kind of gets forced out, right, with all the other ventilation. Now, with that, I was going to use this fan, this inline fan, to actually pull air from the canopy. So my idea is to just come over here and cut this 4-inch pipe, add a couple 90s, and run it all the way over here as close to the canopy as I can. And then I 3D printed some vents that I will drill a 4-inch hole into the top of the canopy in 2 spots, put these little vents there, screw them in place, add some duct work, and then run those 2 to a little splitter majigger. And then that one outlet will go to the inlet of that fan, basically pulling all that air. Now I'm pretty sure it's like 200 cubic feet per minute, something like that on the vent, on those fans. They're relatively expensive. They work really well, and they're low consumption power wise. So that should definitely help pull some of the air out. Now, like I said, little before and after, as I mentioned, it got up to 106 degrees in the canopy at about noon. That's with the lights at full blast, everything kind of cruising with the doors shut. So that's going to be our starting temperature. I'm not going to change out the fans yet because, again, I want to see if this DIY project actually brings that temperature down. And we're going to go ahead and add this ventilation and then kind of test it and see what happens. So our starting temp, again, is 106 degrees with the doors up or doors down and the lights at 100%. So with that, I'm going to get started. I'll set up the camera and get drilling. This is going to be a disaster, by the way, just because I know that there's just going to be particles everywhere. I'm trying to put some plastic in there, try to get the shop vac out, try to record as much of it as possible, but it's going to be a big pain. I can already tell. So it's got to get done, though. It's got to get done. I'm sick of killing lighting, and it's definitely going to help. So with that, let's get started. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. So I did manage to move the fan. Relatively easy process. Not the prettiest looking, but here we're looking for function over beauty at the moment. So I'm not a HVAC specialist, but it does work. It does vent the air, and yeah, that's what matters. So pretty decent. I ended up using about 90% of the 4-inch tubing that I had, or piping, and yeah, so now time to move over to the fun part, and I say that in my best sarcastic voice ever. This is gonna suck. I just know it is. So I'm gonna get in here and drill a 4-inch hole here, 4-inch hole here. I'm gonna put some cardboard or something down to try to catch some of the shavings so it doesn't end up in the 300. I will add a filter sock just to catch anything that might get to the surface, but yeah, so moving over to that. These are the 3D printed little vent covers here. Very simple. We're going to use a 4-inch drill bit here. Punch a hole. These are going to sit in there, screw it in place, add our ductwork here. It's going to come to our little T-splitter and then end up at the input of that fan. So yeah, hopefully this works out well. I haven't tested it anything. I know that it does kind of fit around the drill bit itself. So I guess that's all that matters at the moment, and yeah, we're gonna figure it out as we go. So hopefully it goes as smooth as the first part of the video. So let's get started. guys, welcome back. So the vents are installed and they fit pretty good. The box definitely helped catch some of that shavings. Didn't really see anything major fall into the tank, so that's good. Outside, the screws being a little long, not too bad. I'll have to get some smaller screws to you know, avoid stabbing myself when I'm in there working on the lights. But overall, not bad. It's kind of dusty up here. But now it's time to run the ductwork from these jokers to the fan over there, and hopefully I bought enough. So let's get started. Okay, so I finished the ductwork and not too bad. Again, definitely not the prettiest looking thing here, but it does work. So, or at least I hope it works. It looks like it's gonna work. And yeah, so now I just gotta go ahead and find a spot down on my apex for this cord to go, which conveniently came down here. So I'm gonna plug it into that spot, find that on the EV8 bar, and turn it on. Alright, so everything is connected to the apex, turned on, and currently working. Now, I did go ahead and set a timer on the apex. I'm going to have this fan kick on at 0800 and turn off at 2200, so 8 a.m. and turn off at 10 p.m. Now, it is working. Just to give you kind of an idea, I have this little baggie here. Let's see, suction-wise. You know, it is holding on to the bag, so it is pulling air out, and that is on both sides. So only thing left to do now is throw my little temperature reading majigger in here. Now remember, our current reading before was 106 degrees, so I'm going to go ahead and set this up here. Again, at 106. I'm going to shut the canopy. And we'll come back in a few hours to kind of see how things work down back and up here without trying to run into everything, because my fish room is a disaster. Of course, every time I do a project it is. Now, the only downside is I don't really like the like tubing up there, but whatever, man. I'm gonna have to get over that. So it's currently 12 o'clock. Come back in a few hours and kind of see where we're at. I'll give you guys an update. Again, I am going to replace the 4 fans on the back that have been, you know, that took care of the heat over the last, what, 6 or 7 years. So I am going to replace those. So those will work as normal, just like before. But again, this is an additional ventilation. So just kind of test and see how it turns out. Again, 106 was our current temperature, and I'll see you guys in a few hours. All right, so it's been a few hours. Let's go ahead and check the temperature in the canopy. Try to do this with one hand. Open it up. Oh, what can we see? 90 degrees. That's pretty good. Now, one thing I'm going to try to do is, on these 4 fans, all 4 of them are pulling air out. I'm actually going to swap it out and have 2 of them pushing air in and 2 of them pulling air out, and maybe that will increase the amount of air being pulled out of the canopy, because if everything is sucking air, where's the air coming from? We want to make sure we have you know, not a ton of negative pressure. We can get some of that air moving a little bit quicker. So I will do that. Of course, when I get the fans in, they should be here in the next few days. But so far, I mean, 106 is what we were at before. Now we're at 90. I'm pretty happy with that. That's definitely good. And then once we change out the fans, things will be back to normal, and maybe even lower if we swap the direction of the flow on top of pulling the air out. So is the DIY project a success? So far, yes. And yeah, minus all that tubing. Besides that, it's pretty good. So we'll just keep the camera lower so we can't see it. Look at it, it's not even there anymore. Either way, guys, pretty happy with it. And I'll give you guys an update once I get the fans in there. I'll put a short up or something, or even make another video, an update video in the next month or so. But either way, pretty happy with it. And now it's time to pack some coral and get some orders out. Now, speaking of that, if you want to support the channel, buy 3 get 1 free on all 3D printing. And of course, there's always coral from this tank available for sale. And I'll see you guys later. All right, peace.